our last game of the night. It's gonna be a TVZ here on Triton. And this one is gonna be an interesting one because we got some titans of the scene playing on yet again in the SCPH replays. Start things off here on Triton. Introducing on the bottom right, it is gonna be the BATTLETAG Cypem. And his opponents, it's gonna be a name for many of you familiar. StarCraft 1 god himself has been an old-time player. Long live the Emperor. Long live the Terran race. The coach of the Cibol team. Showing his stuff, showing that he can still play this game, guys. It is the Red Terran eXoBLaZeR. And eXoBLaZeR, the head of the Exo clan itself, Team eXoBrent, say his baby. Cypem in the meantime has been showing that he really deserves to be at the top of the scene. We all know who the top is, but second place is such a competitive running, and maybe one day we'll be able to see our crowned king be dethroned. By this point in time, more of that practice, more of that play, and what better way to get better is to play against the man who is touted to know most about the game in the country. So anyway, we got eXoBLaZeR getting the scout on. Cypem realizes this. In the meantime, making sure no cheesy antics hatch first though from Cypem, and we're gonna get that spawning pool. Seems like something happened in an earlier game, so it's Cypem saying, hey, you gotta respect me, you gotta respect what I'm building on, and BATTLETAG does give him the respect he's due. In the meantime, we are gonna get that Reaper opening it again into that command center. Still orbital command being built, and eXoBLaZeR pretty on point with getting every facet of his economy up and running. In the meantime, Cypem making sure he's not going to get supply block anytime soon, going for that natural. And this is going to be a very interesting matchup to begin with. I've been waiting for a replay like this in quite a while. Seems like it got lost in the shuffle after all the SEA Games antics as well as the project to work on those other replays. But now since we are back, we are going to be able to collect on our dues, collect on the games that we had to go for in the begin with. So right here, right now, it is going to be an early reactor here for eXoBLaZeR compared to our previous games. Pretty standard stuff. He has that Reaper in defense, didn't go for that early Marine, so he is going to get that reactor a bit earlier than anyone else in our games today. So basically, this is going to be a good time. The factory gets lifted up, the barracks will be done with the reactor, and instantaneously go for the double pump Hellions, can't go for the Marine afterwards. So that is why BATTLETAG doesn't send in this Reaper whatsoever. He doesn't want to be unprotected whatsoever. He doesn't want to be forced to lift up his second base already. The Reaper can go for some kite action at any point in time, but in the meantime, Cypem going for that early tech will go for the lair in this instant. So tier 2 already, doesn't have much in behind. Still hasn't gone for the Roach Warren. Is looking to decide if he's going to go for the Baneling Nest instead. But in the meantime, Metabolic Boost almost done here and now for Cypem. We'll be looking to send things over. Third base might be in the cards, but Cypem a little too early, honestly. Sending in that drone. Could have gotten a few more mills there, but that's a completely small nitpick. And he is spending money. The thing is, he is spending money right now. So that third base is not going to happen anytime soon. We'll disregard it, go back to that second, stay on at an even mark. And you can see that eXoBLaZeR is a veteran of the scene. Now this build is something I disagree with personally, but it has shown its effectivity if you really are solid with it. Banshee Cloak, an old school opening, Wings of Liberty, pretty much showing its true colors yet again. Usually, you get those Hellions on, and then you transition to get that Battle Cruiser, you get maybe Bio, but Banshee Cloak means that your opponent has to have a little bit of that detection, but the thing about anti-air is all of them come with detection to begin with. Right now, Cypem looking for the scouts, doesn't see it coming anytime soon. The Banshee gonna get micro to the right hand side, and it is gonna be a Nidus Worm into this one. So Cypem went for that 2-base Nidus play. I believe this is 4.11, so this isn't gonna be the instant cooldown Nidus Worms, as well as the instant tactical jump Battle Cruiser, so closer to the patch we play on. But Cypem right now setting things up to go for the aggression, already with the Creep Tumor, and things look good here for Cypem so far. Gets a number of SCVs already. Hellions on the right hand side, attacking the refinery, taking care of the orbital command as well, looking to force the lift on up. The SCP is hiding on the right-hand side. Banshee now forced to actually engage with the rest of the team. And in the meantime, here we go with the attack already. Exposes the cloak. Goes for the damage done. Queens still fighting though. Cypem gonna lose one. Makes a mistake there. Doesn't need to do this in the first place. Zerglings though going for the march on yet again. Will get cooked up by the Hellions. And in the end, Cypem losing everything. I feel like he should have backed on out as soon as the Banshee cloak got exposed. Night Swarm right now will go down as well. And right here, right now, into the Spore Crawlers we go. A little bit of a reset here for boats. But eXoBLaZeR has lost that second base as well. And this is going to be all about orbital commands here and now. Well done, honestly, to Cypem. Find the opportunity to force out that natural to go on away. I feel like he overextended his reach there. Losing those queens might hurt him in the long run, especially in that larva situation. So basically, with those queens lost, this does mean that Cypem will take a little longer to reinforce and could have actually used those to set up creep tumors to set up that third base at an easier point in time, and then go in for the killing blow as eXoBLaZeR is trying to rebuild. Still though, eXoBLaZeR is forced to rebuild in the first place. Beautiful creep tumors here from Cypem, able to give him the vision that he needs in this front. In the meantime, on the right hand side, Cypem will be trying to spot out any ninja expansions, making sure that his opponent is really on one base and be as confident as possible. Anyway, looking for a 3-hatch duration. Roach Warren gonna be on to that low ground as well, so we do see the tech transition that we need. Travelers, of course, can be so good at sieging these walls to begin with. Hellions are positioned to make sure that they are not gonna be any Zerglings running up that ramp to begin with. Anyway, right here, right now, BATTLETAG in a low mineral situation, so he does go for the Raven instead. Gives him the detection, a lot of utility as well. Can go for that second bash if need be. And the thing about that, Saren, having 3 orbital commands means that you are going to be able to saturate as well as overwork on this mineral line to such a good degree. He can invest on putting these SCVs onto the gas instead. And finally, BATTLETAG are going to be able to get back into the game with a natural open up for him. Solid recovery here from BATTLETAG. If other players saw that, they might call for the GG. But you really see the patience, you can really see the experience here from our Red Terran and the coach of the Philippines, showing that he still has a lot to give in terms of that gameplay. We've seen BATTLETAG actually play a lot more StarCraft 1. Like, a funny story was in the Combine, everyone was playing StarCraft 2, talking about it, that kind of thing. And then we see BATTLETAG, he's back onto StarCraft 1, old school graphics, not even going for the remastered stuff. And I know that there used to be, or are there still, those StarCraft 1 tournaments that he participates in alongside a few members of the community. So yeah, this guy, absolutely tenacious. Still playing on though. StarCraft 2 might be a little bit of a different piece. You might be thinking, oh, you know, I might only have the 12 units in my control group. But I digress, that's a little bit of an old man joke. Here's Dinosaur right now. We'll get caught. Still though, it is quite tanky. Will it be able to spit out a few units along the way? It will scream just to die. The roaches can't go in that spot. And Cypem, desperate to actually go for the attack. Gonna go for the low ground this time. But eXoBLaZeR, does he know that it's coming? That's the real question. He sees a little bit of that action though. The ground is actually quaking. Cypem in the meantime, gonna get it for free. Zerglings now out in front. But here we go with the queens next on the list. Roaches in behind still though. Good micro here and now from Cypem, gets Key Fusion on. Roaches right now will expose himself. Hellions gonna get caught in a bad spot. Will look to retreat. And the real point here and now for BATTLETAG is to take care of this Night Swarm before anything else. Still though, the Overseer gonna get the scout on. Will get that vision, 5 HP and a dream, able to stay alive. eXoBLaZeR has to retreat up this ramp because these roaches are looking pretty scary. Once the Overseer gets closer and closer alongside the Queen, that's gonna be anti-armor in effect. Still though, BATTLETAG holding his ground actually. Gonna get that help, that's pretty tanky overall. And honestly, the creep not being there for Cypem, throwing him such a monkey wrench. It's gonna be a monkey paw, not granting the wish that you're used to. And eXoBLaZeR, beautiful decision making, honestly. He does lose out a number of workers yet again. As we said before, the SCP should have retreated up on that high ground, but the roaches unable to really get much value in the fight. In the end though, eXoBLaZeR will lose out. He doesn't have too many members in the back. It looked very, very hopeful for him. With enough DPS there from Cypem, it forces the Red Terran to be on that high ground yet again. So in this scenario, it's gonna be time to go for the roasted again. Banshees right now, providing that fire supports. And this time, that third base looking to be in full production. It's time to go for higher and higher tech here for Cypem. I wish the creep tumors. The creep tumors could have gotten a little closer, but beyond that, good call to go for the attack there. He knew he had the advantage. The Banshees was able to provide some fire support on the turret right now, shooting down that Overseer. But overall, this is going to be SCVs being sent out to look for that natural yet again. So for Cypem, he knows he has his opponent on the ropes completely at his mercy. But he has to make sure that he attacks at the proper place, at the proper time, and in a proper setup. This is really good already for Cypem. A while ago, he was trying to do so on that main base. Make sure his opponent, BATTLETAG, couldn't clean up that creep tumors, but BATTLETAG decided to go for the Raven instead. So this time on the low ground, Cypem is just spreading things up. Make sure he can get some creep spread from below to seep up on top. Make sure the queens can bridge the gap, close in to where the roaches engaged in the first place. Anyway, Overseer right now backing on now. Here we go with the Scream on out. Oh, it's a bait and switch. This will be the right hand side, getting those units on. Overseer though quite low, and this Marine gonna be happy with that one kill before he falls in action. Hellbats now. White tanky yet again. Banshee in the meantime being produced. Here we go with some more Thors. And eXoBLaZeR playing as defensive as possible. It is going to be a tower defense hold. It is going to be a last stand situation here for eXoBLaZeR. Cypem in the meantime going to be the alien invaders, not running out of any resources, time, or units anytime soon. Anyway, engagement goes yet again. Overseer right now gonna get that detection. Queens getting that creep spread on, getting that creep speed. They will be able to go to that high ground right here, right now. eXoBLaZeR might be in spot of trouble. He's just maximizing the amount of minerals he can get from this line, because this might be lost in this scenario. Can't go for the lift off. The SCPs will transition automatically to that main base, as well as the mules looking to get as much minerals as possible before they collapse. Overall, BATTLETAG able to actually get as many resources as he can. Cypem in the meantime still be the advantage. ×2, more than ×2 honestly in that word counts. Going for that fourth base already in behind all of his action. In the meantime, army components pretty even. Cypem is respecting his opponents, isn't going all in with his attacks, but he's just making sure that the resources from BATTLETAG is going towards the defense, is going towards repairing, is going towards keeping things alive, over having the opportunity to actually attack any of the bases that the Zerg has set up. So Queen will get caught, and it seems like it will be time for the mop up here, and now Mule sent in yet again. And BATTLETAG able to keep up in the economy at some capacity thanks to those robots flying on down. But still, it is just gonna be basically for maintenance costs. So many workers here for Cypem, honestly. 29 onto this fourth base. He is gonna go for the fifth thanks to the surplus. He's feeling very, very confident with what he has to begin with. And he said that this is a third base fake. It seems like it was the case, because he didn't really go for the production. He didn't really produce it in the first place. Maybe making BATTLETAG think that he is gonna go for that 3 base after that scouts. Took a long while though. Like you see the minerals being used in that scenario. Anyway, Overseer here on the top yet again. Zerglings in the meantime staying on the right hand side. In the meantime though, eXoBLaZeR given the opportunity to actually go for that third. Sneaks it over to that low ground. The Cypem know that it's there to begin with. It seems like it's not the case. Zerglings going for the scanning information. 3 base right here, right now for BATTLETAG. Might be that small surprise that will bring him back into this game. But right here, right now, when Cypem decides to go for the fight, he can have such a big army in behind this. But this time, it is all about that economy. He is going to go for the over 80 mark on terms at that worker. You can really see a lot of focus here and making as much money as possible here for Cypem. He wants to play the economic game stronger and stronger, make himself a first world economy of all things. In the meantime, those Zerglings to be running on back, but there is truly a saturation point to begin with. Cypem at pretty much the optimal line. 83 workers can go for at least 100 plus army to even things up, be as potent as can be. He's making sure that he's maximizing and optimizing his units. He's sending these Zerglings in for suicide missions, basically, getting some scanning information, make sure to take care of any bases trying to be built, and at the same time, if need be, run them into the fire, into the furnace, get them cooked by these Hellbats to begin with. Right now though, eXoBLaZeR making a wall of supply depots, making sure that his left flank isn't exposed. In the meantime, we haven't been able to talk much about those upgrades, because +1 carapace and rage. So Cypem looking to focus on with that rage advantage, gonna get Hydraless upgrades as well. Interesting enough, he went for roaches but doesn't have the reconstitutions. Apparently didn't need that extra movement speed. But as we do see the tech on over, it is going to be a heavy Hydra, heavy Lurker, as well as Viper. A Duck, he can go for those clouds as well. Make sure that he can't, the Hydralists rather, are protected from those long ranges. And the thing about going into lair tech, you are opened up with these lurkers, but at the same time, I believe you need that extra upgrades to get that hive tech. You need that hive rather to get that extra upgrade for the lurker to begin with. That should be 2 of them, allowing these lurkers to be as optimal as possible. This one though will be allow him to get a little more of that range action to go. In the meantime, Zerglings making sure that no fort base will be taken here for eXoBLaZeR. eXoBLaZeR not deciding to go to the right hand side, will do so on the low ground instead. So yeah, size 6 spores, size 6 vines rather. Gonna be such a strong potency here for our boy Cypem. He is gonna go for +3 as well, and these lurkers are gonna give eXoBLaZeR flashbacks of his Marines dying left, right, and center from no good reason in the previous game. In the meantime though, we are gonna get the Trader's Fire. We are gonna be able to get into Hive here and now. Onto that natural. Seems like the Infestation Pit has done its job, unlocked everything that needed to be unlocked in the first place. And by this point, so much map taken here by Cypem to begin with. He knows that he puts his opponent on the ropes. He's gonna try to go for that high ground, make sure he's on even at the very least. Doesn't want to fight into siege tanks that are sieged up and can't get hampered. And going for that Greatest Fire in even better way to make sure he has that artillery support. Vipers though, flying on in full energy right here, right now. Abduct's gonna be so huge. Toss them into the loving waiting arms of the Hydras to begin with. Lurkers now trying to get closer and closer. They won't have that extra speed to go for the burrow, I believe. But in the meantime, they will be able to try and get the range going. Abducts now catching out those siege tanks. Here we go though with the scan. But the Abducts absolutely huge here from Cypem. Moving forward with the Hydralists already. Catching out the Thor one more time into the loving embrace of those lurkers. And eXoBLaZeR has the back on now. It's Cypem yet again. They will play the ability advantage. Push forward, yoink them in, make sure that they are cleaned up. Scando coming online, takes care of one of the lurkers. Here we go with another Duck, takes care of that siege tank already. Force in the meantime, going for the shots. Big Ducks yet again. And every single time a unit is brought into the fold, it is assimilation successful there for our Zerg player. Cypem right now, absolutely on point with the micro. In the meantime, +3. Gonna be such a big upgrade as well. This time though, transitioning into a bad spot. They have eXoBLaZeR already having plan B at the ready. Siege tank all the way in behind. So instead, Cypem back to his old tricks. Will do the same before retreating. So big hit there from Cypem. He was able to get some solid yoinks overall. In the meantime, he is going to be building up some more lurkers and vipers, but not going for that extra upgrade onto the lurker then as of yet. Thing to note is he is saving up a little bit of that gas, making sure that he can build as many lurkers as he can, as he wants. But can't go for the upgrade. 0.77 is no laughing matter. 0.7 rather is no laughing matter in terms of dropping things down. Anyway, still an Overseer getting so much of that vision. Knows something is coming. Finally, eXoBLaZeR trying to find a cheeky play, but as immediately as it starts, that is going to be the Terran unable to get anything out of these boundaries. And you know, Smart Servo is going to be into the cards, allows these transformations to be a lot quicker. In the meantime, Vikings still flying into the air. The Taurs can swap weapons as soon as the upgrades are good to go at such an exponential rate. In the meantime, we do have Cypem focusing heavily onto the Hydra, Lurker, Viper composition. We'll see if this can make a change. The building does fall for some reason. Hive right now, as well as that lair. Very interesting that Cypem went both for a Hive and a lair on different bases, making sure at least he is ready to go at any point in time. Hellion still turning into Hellbats, brawling with that blue flame. Takes care of that spine crawler anyway. In the meantime, Cypem just feeling confident. He doesn't really need all these bases in the first place. eXoBLaZeR though, evening up the economic tab with those workers, even going ahead when the mules are online. But Cypem feeling that he does have enough resources to go for the fights after fight after fight. Lurkers right now trying to get damage done. Abducts yet again from the Vipers, getting some good yoinks along the way. And this time, it is going to be eXoBLaZeR walking into that one. Hellbats though, cooking up on the right hand side. Beautiful parasitic bomb. We'll look for the spread, we'll look for the DPS. Hydralists are on it to get that takedown. And overall, that's a big chunk of the unit from eXoBLaZeR going down already. Lurkers though, unable to get closer and closer without taking damage. That is going to be Hydralisk getting in position yet again. In the meantime, right here, right now, it's all about the damage being done. We finally have gotten the upgrade there for the Lurkers to begin with. You can see how quick they burrowed in that last fight. Anyway, Cypem has cleaned up. He's still on 200, 200, and 6140 right now. Focusing heavily on building that army to begin with, getting as many numbers as possible. On the right hand side he goes, gonna get a little more creep along the way. And BATTLETAG might be walking into the lion's den in this one. Siege tanks are not ready. Look how quick these lurkers drop on down. Here we go right here, right now. Scans are on point. And BATTLETAG trying to get as much DPS going with that splash damage. Anyway, Vikings looking at those Vipers. Cypem forced back on out. But he doesn't lose as many as you'd expect. And borrow action from those lurkers so quick to begin with. And right now Triton turning into an oily reception. You can see these you can see these vehicles rather being taken down in so many ways. Meantime, Siege Tank marching forward. Lurker Cocoon will get caught. Can Cypem actually get value out of these lurkers before they fall? They are looking to regroup with the rest of the clan. Queen's in behind as well. In the meantime, here we go with the pincer attack. eXoBLaZeR got supply blocked. And do or die time here from eXoBLaZeR. It feels like this is going to be the last part of his army. He's not getting much minerals and gas in the back. Here we go with the scan yet again. And this is going to be the Terran losing out in terms of that resources. He's losing out in terms of what he has. But he has still won this fight right here, right now. Four workers are optimal for these 2 mineral patches, but still the optimal squad. This has to be the Alpha Squadron, the ace in the hole here for eXoBLaZeR. Trying to use these units as much as possible, but Cypem still patrolling with the Zerglings on the left hand side. They've been dancing there and then the whole game already. In the meantime, Hydralisk marching forward, wants to take care of this natural. And it seems like this is a chokehold getting tighter and tighter against BATTLETAG. This is the noose of economy showing its depression. And right now, BATTLETAG doesn't have much in the bank. It seems like investments have gone bust. It's when you go to jail and then you land at the hotel afterwards. Hydralisk still will get cleaned up, but Cypem owning everything beyond Boardwalk. This time, eXoBLaZeR is in a do-or-die situation, and most likely, he will die to the torrent that is a Cypem by this point. eXoBLaZeR is trying his best, but at the same time, the moment Cypem had the lead, had that extra gear to go, he never stopped, never looked back, and never really gave BATTLETAG a chance at this to begin with. BATTLETAG was given the opportunity to move to move to a port, but Cypem used that time to get into a tech 3, to get into the upgrades that he was so comfortable with, and the lurkers and the Hydralisk with the Vipers working so well hand in hand together. I love the pressure applied there by Cypem as well. Made sure that eXoBLaZeR was at a 2-base, 1-base scenario in so many points in time, hampering. Sure, a few slip-ups in terms of the mobility, thinking that his units were more mobile than they were. But beyond that, an absolutely solid game here from our Blue Zerg. Right now, eXoBLaZeR going to the left-hand side, looking to mop up as much as he can before he calls it quits. Will BATTLETAG actually find the opportunity to take care of a wipe, to be able to take care of these units coming his way? The lurkers right now, throwing those mines yet again. Hydralisk trying to get into the fold, looking for the poke already. In the meantime, scan comes out. One lurker will get caught. Thor's coming closer and closer. But right now, every damage they take will be pretty mortal. The SCP is trying to get as close as possible, but it seems like the Terran Dominion is running out of gas. Here we go with the yoink yet again. Abduct, taking care of one. Sometimes extraterrestrials are just on your doorstep, and they are waiting not just to steal you away, but also to just destroy you in its path. Here we go with the Cloud already. No range whatsoever. And BATTLETAG will call the GG as soon as his hit squad dies. What a game there. Very well executed from Cypem. And it seems like he was able to show up against eXoBLaZeR in that scenario. BATTLETAG went for the Banshee, went for the Cloak, but was forced to reveal his hand, trying to defend. And Cypem in the meantime, Nidus Worm was not the full story. It was an attack onto the natural, force out the opponent to be in such a vice grip, put the pressure onto the natural again and again, using that Nidus Worm to his advantage. And as he said, he faked that third base maybe could have been the opening there that allowed him to do so. eXoBLaZeR could have reacted a little faster against the Nidosaur, but I regress Cypem going for the attack there. The Queen's a little lost, but it wasn't the biggest loss in the first place. I feel like if he didn't lose those Queens, the game would have been over after the next wave. But since the Queens died, and it wasn't as much anti-air as you'd expect for the next fights, it allowed BATTLETAG to hold, albeit barely. But that's just one hand on the cliff, falling on down, perhaps, with one swift kick. And eventually Cypem able to do so by the 24-minute mark. Well done to both. What a great game to end this session.